So it is November 1st, 2022, and today is a really big day for me in terms of my writing career. I just called my boss and told him that I am planning on leaving my day job. What's up, everyone? I'm Nathan Graham Davis, and I am a professional screenwriter. For those of you who've watched my reentry series before, you're probably not surprised to hear that it feels really fucking good to say that. I rebroke into Hollywood in 2021. I just got my first movie made this year in 2022, and I'm leaving behind my day job in 2023. I just gave a heads up to my boss a couple weeks ago, as you saw from that clip at the beginning, which means it's happening. This is something I've dreamed about for a long time. It's exciting, and I don't quite have the financial cushion that I'd like, so it also feels a little risky. So I'm just going to document it in my new series, Going Pro, as I turn this thing into a sustainable career. It's been a bit since I've done anything on here, so a quick update for anyone who's followed my journey so far. First of all, you may have noticed that my set has changed. My family and I just moved. An incredible property came up for sale in our community, and we made a leap of faith and went for it. We actually traded down as far as the house goes. In fact, it's a real fixer-upper with cracked windows. There was water in the basement when we moved here, cracked siding. The whole kind of downstairs needs to be gutted. So we're going to be doing major renovations over the next year or two, and this set is probably going to continue to change. But the location is perfect. This is the yard, that is a trailhead, and in 15 minutes of running, I can be on top of this peak, and in 5 minutes of riding my bike, I can be in this vibrant, artsy downtown. So as far as we're concerned, it's perfect. So we took the plunge. I'm sharing this because, as I said, I'm a few months out from quitting my day job, and with 2 kids, a mortgage, and those upcoming renovations, it adds to the pressure to really make this work. You might notice that there are no palm trees here. We live in Western Massachusetts, and we love it. This is home. I've broken in twice from Western Mass, and with Zoom having truly taken over in terms of meetings, I do believe I can make a feature career work here. It's not as easy as it would be in LA, no question. However, I've been making a very intentional effort to meet professionals in this area as well, and I've been amazed at how many there actually are. In fact, I recently met one local WGA writer who's managed quite a strong career, and he's come this close to getting Netflix to let him run a writer's room out here. So, the landscape is changing. It doesn't mean it'll be easy, but the cost of living is so much lower out here, which means the money from each gig goes further. So far, I've only made real money off of a single project. It's an action thriller that was produced this spring. It's still unannounced, but I can't wait to speak more about it. In fact, I recorded a handful of videos about my experience, which I'll drop when I'm able to do so. But they look something like this. Tomorrow, or tonight rather, marks my last day as an unproduced screenwriter. I am going to be 38 in a little over a month. Wrote my first script when I was 20. It's been a really fucking long journey. And I'm up here on Whiting Peak, close to sunset. One of my favorite places to be. And just thought it would be cool to reflect on that a little bit. But it's a weird thing because all of this is going on. And I'm just kind of at home working at my work from home office. And my life doesn't feel a whole lot different. But last night I got, a guy tweeted at me, who is an actor that's going to be playing one of kind of like the main henchmen in the movie. And that's really, really exciting for me. It's kind of like the first person that I've randomly connected with that's working on the movie, that wasn't connected to me by somebody else that I already know that's working on the movie. He had followed me on Twitter and tweeted at me, and we DM'd a bunch, and it's like his first big acting break. And it's just so mind-blowing to me because this is like something that I never really considered. Like, this is my first big break as a screenwriter. And it didn't even occur to me that I had written something that could create similar opportunities for other people and create similar emotions in other people. But he's experiencing a lot of the same emotions that I am, it's so surreal and cool. And that's one of those things that makes it feel like everything has been worth it. Like, holy shit, I've been at this for so long. A lot of times I wondered if I was completely wasting my time, but you know what? Like a movie's getting made, and not only that, like it's creating opportunities for other people who also have their own dreams. It's going to employ probably like a few hundred people for a little while. I mean, it's just like it's fucking unreal. So I am headed to set. It is Thursday the 12th. Movie's been going for almost 2 weeks now, and I am so excited. It's going to be just, I don't even know what to expect, honestly. Oh shit. Today was fucking amazing. Top 10 day of my life for sure. In all seriousness, if nothing happens with my career, I truly do feel like I've achieved most of my dream. It's been amazing and I'm so grateful, except my dream has always included being a full-time writer. So that's where I'm taking it next. I'm taking the money from that action thriller, plus a bonus from my day job, and after taxes and fees to my reps, that leaves me with enough to last just over a year. That's not a whole lot of time, but I do have a couple others in the works. I have a sci-fi thriller under a shopping agreement with producers, directors, and equity financing, and we just began making money offers to some amazing talent. There's still a lot that needs to happen, but if casting lines up, we could be shooting as early as next spring, and in addition to a dream come true, it'd be a huge help financially. Also, for those of you who watched my reentry series, I wrote an elevated horror called Aether. I just received a shopping agreement for that script as well, and I'm very excited to start working with some super talented producers on it. Again, lots needs to happen before it turns into a movie, but I love the script, it's an iron in the fire, and it's a thrill to be working with those people. With a Hollywood movie coming out next year and 2 other projects in the works, it honestly feels like I'll never have this much momentum again if I don't strike now. So, after lots of careful planning and consideration and conversation with my wife, we agreed that I'd quit in mid to late spring of 23, closer to when the movie drops, to allow me as much time to capitalize on that as possible. I'm going to need to be able to take every single meeting I can get, and being free from the constraints of a day job is the best way to do that. So, that said, for the next 5 months or so, I do have a day job. My boss, my colleagues, my clients are all great, and I owe it to them to be the best that I can so that they can continue to be successful. I also refuse to be an absent dad or husband, so if I'm going to create as much screenwriting momentum as possible, I need to use my time incredibly well. Just like with reentry, I need to set achievable goals and determine the action steps to get there. So the overall goal, simple. Create a sustainable screenwriting and producing career. So what's success look like at the end of 2023? Well, if I haven't made any income by the end of 2023, I'm going to be about a month or 2 out from needing to look for a new job. So basically, I have to make some money by that point. Doesn't matter if it's from selling a script, getting a rewrite gig, freelance work, etc. It just needs to happen. The most important thing is going to be doing what I can to get the sci-fi thriller and Aether into production. Those will be solid paydays. Produced movies can give you a huge career boost. And also, they're the entire reason that we do this, right? So ideally, the rewrites won't be too extensive, but they will need to happen, and a successful year will mean I did my part to give those movies the best shot possible. Equally important will be generating new material. So in addition to finishing up my current spec, I need to finish at least the first draft of another by the end of the year. I'll also develop at least 3 other ideas to the pitch outline level so that they're ready to go as I'm taking general meetings, etc. Because producing is one of my goals as well, I also want to cut my teeth by producing a high-quality short and doing it locally. And finally, I'll have developed another viable income stream, whether that's the odd speaking gig, freelancing, putting out some sort of book, or I don't know, maybe it's this YouTube thing if enough people spark to it. Probably not. Also, one final thing, and I'm putting a big asterisk on this as a 2023 goal, because sometimes it just takes a long time to find the right person, but I'll be looking to add an agent to the team. As someone who lives outside of LA, there's no question that that will be critical to building momentum and keeping it going. Okay, so that's a lot. And also, I've still got 5 months until I leave my job, which means that I need to keep doing that job well. So to do that and also hit the ground running when I do leave, my 5 goals from now until then will be to get my current script to a final draft. I'm days away from finishing the first draft, so even if I need to do 4 or 5 more, that's really doable. I need to get the rewrite done for Aether so that we can take it to directors and beyond. That should be, I think, a pretty quick process, so I expect to have it wrapped before the end of 2022. I need to write a short script to produce later in the year. and I need to develop at least one of those ideas to the pitch or outline level. Also, because relationships are everything in this business, I will aim to meet at least 20 new people in the business in that time. So that's about one per week. So what can you expect from this series? My plan is to do a bunch of shorter videos updating my progress toward those goals and covering things I've learned or am learning along the way. I'll also be doing about one interview a month, bringing in other writers who are right at the beginning of their professional careers, as well as other folks in the industry to get their perspective on things that they feel newer pro writers should know. Also, I mentioned my script, Aether. Well, the producers of that are very aware of how I wrote it publicly on YouTube. In fact, two of them are Ben Lustig and Jake Thornton, the guys who wrote The Princess, Watch It, and who appeared on episode 5 of my reentry series, which was actually the first episode in which I mentioned the nugget of the idea that became the script. They sparked to it big time, and Jake actually called me right after the interview to encourage me further to write it. So those guys were a huge factor in why I chose to write that script in the first place. And although we had no idea that this is where things would go, a couple years later, they found themselves looking for something to produce and felt Aether could be like a great first project for them. So they brought in 2 other more experienced producers, and now we're moving forward. So weirdly, even though Aether didn't end up being my true re-entry into the business, that was an older script, an action thriller, doing the re-entry series is the entire reason that Aether has a shot at getting made in the first place. It is just absolutely wild to me how things can work out and line up in this business in the most random ways. Also, because Ben and Jake are familiar with the YouTube element of that script, and because they've become YouTubers themselves, watch their series. It's super cool. They're live streaming themselves writing a script and also interviewing other writers like Derek Kolstad of John Wick. Anyway, we're talking about maybe doing a follow-up series in which we document the producing process. So cross your fingers, that may happen. Anyway, I know that's a lot. It's an exciting time, and I want to express my gratitude to all of you who've supported and followed me along the way. I absolutely plan to continue giving back. Speaking of that, if you ever followed me on Twitter or Reddit, you may have noticed that I'm no longer posting there. The truth is, I realized I needed a good long break from the time suck that those places became, not to mention some of the negativity there, especially on Twitter these days. I don't know if I'm going to return to those places, but I do want to continue a couple things here. So first of all, I plan to do a live Q&A a few times a year. Maybe I'll bring in some guests as well. Second, for the past year and a half or so, I've been giving script notes to a random writer at least every month. These are like 2,000 to 4,000 words of intensive notes, all intended to help those scripts get better. They take me hours, but they've apparently helped people level up and achieve some really cool things, so it's been super gratifying, and I really enjoy doing it. I unfortunately get way too many read requests to honor them all, so what I'll be doing is putting out a call at the end of one of my videos in every month of 2023, inviting you to submit a free entry for that through my website. So if you want in on that, just subscribe to the channel and keep an eye out. Anyway, that's it for this one. Thank you so much, everyone, and all the best as you chase your own dreams.